Listen, you wouldn't be here if you hadn't. There's not one single thing that you do here in this so-called time association from beginning to end that is not a protective device against your apparent annihilation. Yet the key is, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Now what the hell are you going to do? I'm offering you an impossible solution to an impossible situation. As long as you defend yourself from what appears to be objective reality, you cannot see that you are the cause of the problem. Listen to me. This is the teachings of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Pure and simple. Don't resist evil. You see? Regardless of what you're presented with it, don't resist it. Ever. Never. That's A Course in Miracles. See how simple it is? Why? When you don't resist it, the miracle occurs immediately. Because projected thought form or objective reality is a resistance to your own creative purpose. And you have set it up specifically to limit your own self-identity and share that limitation with the projected unreality. Do you see? And you'll never be happy doing it because you're a creator. You're as God created you. Your mind is creating right now. That's what you're doing. There's no question about that. The question is, what is the result of your creation? The result of what you are doing with your mind is the earth as you see it. As long as that's okay with you, you won't let it go. And when it's not okay, you will let it go. But remember that, as Jesus says in the Course, no one can stand pain indefinitely. Somewhere, sometime, you're going to have to look at the impasse, the impossible situation that you're in. There is no solution to your problem. There is no solution to your problem. There is no solution to this problem as you have constituted in your own perceptual mind. It is not real. There can be no solution to it. Jesus in the Course. We are dealing with an impossible situation. You will now trap me in my contractual associations with you and demand recognition for your contraption, what you call your spiritual quest. Okay? If you're looking for God, why don't you just find Him? You want it from the Course? You're very much afraid of finding Him. You lose your identity if you find Him. Got an authority problem. You think you made yourself. Well, you do. You're standing here somehow defending and protecting yourself and in your own associations, aren't you? And you're absolutely right. You have to be or you wouldn't do it. See, there's no sense in arguing with yourself. You have a tendency to kick that out into perceptions and pretend you're not doing it. You're doing exactly what you want to do. Many of you have an idea that you could actually die. I know you think that. But what the hell kind of a life is it that's based on annihilation? Did you ever really look at that? What's it like to be dead? To be annihilated? Are you telling me that in all the universe, here you are caught in this little place in space-time, and that life is based on not being annihilated? It doesn't make any sense. It's senseless. I know you're determined to obliviate yourself very simply because you can't stand the conflict of your own perceptual relationships with yourself. You use up all of your time memories. Don't you? You are in a species of genetic association that demands a correspondence of time association and will literally be used up in the karma drama of your own mind at any moment. Jesus says you tread your pitiful little way through a world that's absolutely in your own dream, constructed by you in your own mind, and it has absolutely no reality at all. None. That's this Course in Miracles. Obviously, this is all it says. But somebody had to tell you that it's okay to believe that. Because you have to start somewhere with the assumption that this is not heaven, that this is hell, that somewhere in your own mind you're caught in this and can't find a way out. that the solution is not here, because the solution is not here. If you have never found the solution before, what the hell gives you the idea you're ever going to find it? You're not really looking for it. What you do is satisfy yourself in a temporary association with what you think you are and get cancer and get old and die. That's crazy. It's nuts. It's senseless. Don't do it anymore. How do you get old again? Help me. Think with me. How do you get old? Your mind doesn't get old, does it? How would it get old? It's all new anyway, never mind that. But what do? So you remember old thoughts? and you identify them with the thoughts of your body. You give your body control over you. Well, Jesus says that's just crazier than hell. There's nothing crazier than that. You let your body, in your association, tell you how you are. You actually let this pump, this beautiful pump that's going on here, is suddenly going to stop and you're going to die. That's crazy. Why don't you tell it what it is? Tell it's a whole beautiful thing working perfectly in coordination with your mind. Will it work? How the hell wouldn't it work? It could not work. What are you? The proof that it doesn't work. You get into the Christian vernacular, the idea of the resurrection will lead you to the same thing. Jesus rose and everything went with it. And this is not so. Okay, period. This whole teachings of the Course in Miracles. This is over and done. One man did it, it was done. Who was that man? You. Positively. It's over and done. How could you be the residual to the resurrection and be real? You couldn't be. It wasn't real in the first place. Well, I'd certainly like to believe you, but it sure seems to me that I'm stuck. You are, too. You need a miracle. But you keep trying to identify it. You insist that somehow you can correlate it in your own mind, don't you? Somewhere you're going to give it an identification, like you do God. No concepts are ever so. Form has nothing to do with content at all. You'll use 1,000,000 devices to give identity to that form. You'll build giant computers, monstrous things, all with separate forms that will correlate with each other, that literally have nothing to do with thinking at all. There is no thinking connected with it. It is one form in association with another form, neither of which are real. See it? Can you see it? If it was never true, if this was never true, all right, the result of this could not be true. Okay? It's the same idea as if you'll admit to me that this is past, that your mind is past, the result of the mind that you're bringing here to formulate a future couldn't possibly mean anything. Isn't that so? What could it mean? It's already gone. Here's the key. If you won't destroy by your perceptual associations the continuity of time thought, okay, if you won't destroy it by taking pieces and hunks of it and projecting it, if you'll simply stand still and release that, you will experience what we call in the Course a holy instant. Quite literally, if you'll stop associating with your projections, all right, an instant of wholeness of your own mind associations will occur. And hell, you guys are doing this all the time. That's what you're doing. I know that you then reassociate it and demand further evidence of yourself in your association. Okay, but if A Course in Miracles, and if you'll take the workbook tomorrow and start with lesson 1, I'd be very surprised if you could get to lesson 7 without transforming and being in heaven. I don't know why you wouldn't, if it's over and done anyway. Okay? Start with lesson number 7. Okay, this is all past. Okay, and that's why thoughts don't mean anything, and all the things that it say. That's why you're frightened of this. That's why this doesn't mean anything, because it's already gone. Unless you don't want it to be. See? Okay. Now, for some of you, the necessity to associate love, which is wholeness and God, creating you perfectly, timelessly, forever, with sickness and pain and death and anger and greed, is a requirement. Okay. And until that begins to get intolerable to you, you will not hear this. You might just well look right at it. You look at this. You can't hear it. Because what? You're always solving the problem. Is that so? Each moment you're solving the problem. I'm not interested in the concepts of it. Listen, I don't care how you're solving it. I don't care whether you're solving it in love, in hate, in anger, in pity. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. You think you can tell the difference. That's sick. That's too bad. You think you can tell the difference between pain and pleasure. We're not concerned about that. What we're saying to you is that the perceptual mind is continually solving its problem because it must in order to exist. It has to defend itself from its own associations. Okay? It's not real. You say, well, how did I get into this? What the hell difference does it make if you're in it and you want to get out? When you say, how did I get into this, it simply means you don't want to get out. You're just defending yourself in your own association. So this is a course for people that are sick and tired. It would have to be, if you look at it, it has to be a course for people, that are looking at this and saying, well, this is futile. Most of you, when you were 14, when you went through your adolescent schizophrenia, demanded an answer to the problem, and everybody said, shut up, that's the way it is. And you looked right at it and you said, well, this doesn't make any sense. No matter what I do, I'm still just going to fend off death, and I'm going to die, and I'm never going to know what's happened, and I'm caught here. And they said, that's the way it is. So what'd you do? I don't know, cut your wrist, I suppose. You couldn't stand it, right? You just said, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be here. Oh, come on, you can do it. Stick with us. So now you've stuck with them. And here you are in exactly the same dilemma as you've always had. An attempt to correlate the perfection of your own mind with the obvious sickness and death that you're seeing here. Okay? They cannot be adjudication because there's no adjudication necessary. There is no conflict. Well, I certainly wish I could believe you. Well, it doesn't make any difference whether you believe it or not. What's the key to it? Salvation is beyond belief. What are you going to do? God, tell me what God is like and how you are in that relationship? That's just silliness. Let God be God. Many of you have used the mechanism of I can't do this. A lot of you have used the mechanism of unmanageability. Okay. I'm powerless. I can't do this anymore. There must be some other way out of it. And I'll turn my will over to that, and the problem was solved for you. That's A Course in Miracles. Isn't it? Those of you who are familiar with the 12-step program. 12-step program is the first 3 steps of the Course in Miracles. Steps of the Course, or 12-step program are what the Course in Miracles is. I'm powerless over this. I'm addicted to it. I can't stand it. Everything I do isn't doing me any good. There must be another way out of this. It's not constituted in here. I'll turn it over and go for it, and the miracle happens. Those of you who have overcome what you term addictions in that manner will understand that it was a miracle that brought that about. All I'm directing you to is the more determined you will be to see that you had nothing to do with recovery, the quicker you'll get out of here. The more, and Jesus really teaches this. He says, don't help us. Don't bring the solution that you think is the answer to your problem into it. And those of you who have had the miracle, when you know that everything was impossible and it was the worst it could possibly be, I'm speaking from deep experience here. I can't do this, and had the problem solved for you, experienced a miracle. And you're very willing to let it be a miracle until somebody in your past demands that you take credit for the association. And get into some sort of therapy that can help you hold on to the resentment that held you in the bondage of your own associations in the first place. Which is exactly what you're doing with the Course in Miracles. You're seeking to hold on to the identity to bring about the miracle. But the miracle is the loss of, or your inability to solve the problem, or the loss of your conceptual association. Isn't it? That's how the miracle works. How else is it going to work? Isn't it okay if it's a miracle? Okay? I'm giving you the reason for it. If you've projected the thought form and are protecting yourself from it, if you don't do that, you'll undergo the harmony of the reassociation of your own mind. What's wrong with doing that? That's nice to do that. This is your world. The shadowy figures that you have brought with you here, that you have named in your own mind, that are products of your own mind, are here for a moment in time to verify your association with being here. They are not real. There's no reason why you advanced teachers of the Course can't teach this. I'm teaching this right out of the book. These are the exact sentences. You must start from that premise. There's no requirement that you believe it. Do you see? But there is a requirement that you say as you're constituted, I can't solve the problem within this room. There's got to be another way. Will the miracle really happen? I don't understand the question. You are whole and perfect. See? This is the miracle. Because that's all there is. There is nothing but this miracle. Okay? Everything and everyone in the universe knows this except you. Come on. Come on. Okay, the sleeping mind doesn't know that, but remember that it's not communicating. It can set up all of these things and attempt to communicate and then feel the frustration of objective reality. You demand a response from the association, and when you don't get it proper, you have the conflict of your own mind. Boy, that's a hell of a way to be in. No, you're the cause of this. For a lot of you, this is much too uncompromising. Okay. Somehow you say, I know, but I'm here, and I'm doing this, and that's true. And you have the power to stay here, and you have the power to do the things you're doing. And you listen, there's nothing in the universe that can stop you. Nothing. Nothing. God obviously doesn't know anything about it. Yet the power of your mind, okay, which is God creating, can bind you in that time association if you want that to be so. If you want that to be that way. Okay, there is nothing sensibly in the universe that could possibly stop you from communicating with God right now. As a matter of fact, it's the most natural thing that you could do. Because you are as you were created. The problem you have is you look for confirmation of what I told you in your associations, and it's not there. The associations are designed to keep you from communicating. You want the sentence? The associations of perceptual mind are designed specifically to keep you in time and from communicating with God. They have been set up as a protection, as a veil, Jesus calls it. He says, whole cities will arise in your projected mind, and you'll see this. And it's not so. None of it is so. None of this is so. You can reach your hand here, right now, right through the veil and be in heaven. It's right here. All the separate ones stand in one little tiny spot, and they call that time. Okay? Not so. Not so.